Living in the West Indies is pretty much the byword for living the good life, right? Blue skies, sunny beaches, warm weather. I mean, what is there not to love? Well, after 12 months of living in Grenada, in the Caribbean, I want to share with you a little bit of what it's been like to up sticks and move to a Caribbean island. So I moved to Grenada in July of 2021. I had a previous stint of living here in 2015, but this time it was for real. I was leaving London, I was moving here, and this was going to be my base from here on in. Um, so for those of you watching who want to do something similar, who know that you're fed up of where you are, you want to be somewhere else, I'm hoping that some of my mistakes, some of my learning lessons can be of use to you. If you want to dive deeper into the subject, I'm actually launching a course on Monday. So stay tuned to the end. And for those of you who do, I will give you a special offer. But back to the point. I moved here in the middle of a pandemic. I was supposed to move in 2020. I moved in 21 because my flights got cancelled like 8 times. So by the time I moved, my focus was exclusively on just getting out. I was done with London. I was done with the life that I had, and I wanted something new, something exciting, somewhere where I didn't have to wear a jacket, essentially. A bit more than that, but the weather thing was quite significant. And that's well and good. And I think even a year on, some of you still might be really prompted to move by being really not okay with where you are. But I do think taking the time to delve into what specifically is it about your life at the moment that you're not loving, and what specifically is it that you do want to immerse yourself in or shift towards overseas is a really useful starting point, because ultimately your destination isn't going to change everything, right? You might think, okay, waking up to sunny skies and everything else is going to make it, and it will. But I think there are some fundamental things that if you have the opportunity to sit down and plan and sit down and map it out, getting really clear on what you want is going to make a difference. Because yes, living in the Caribbean is like a huge honor. It's a huge blessing. It's a huge privilege in some ways. But it's still life. It rains here. Today was supposed to be beautiful. It's actually a tropical storm. I'm getting eaten by sandflies. There is a club about to start testing its sound system at 2 in the afternoon. There is stuff here that will still piss you off. Like, the Caribbean is not paradise. They might sell it like that in the adverts, but really, trust me, it's not a utopia. And I think if you're not prepared for that, if you really and I think so many of us are like at breaking point. We've been stretched so far where we are that we just need to be somewhere that will just hold us and nurture us and fix all of our problems. But the reality is a place like that doesn't exist. It just doesn't. Some places obviously are going to be way more hostile or way more nurturing than others, but you still have to do the work. You have to do the work. And being clear on what the work is before you move, I think, is an awesome shortcut to just, yeah, being happy. Being happy. The second thing I'd say, and this perhaps is specific or unique to those of you who are, in a sense, moving back to the Caribbean, those of you who have Caribbean roots, parents, grandparents, etc. I think, and I'm not just projecting here, I do think, because I've spoken to many people, that often there is a sense of wanting to find belonging here. For me, 7 generations of folks are from Grenada. I'm sitting recording this in my grandfather's house, sitting on his balcony, watching the land that he used to tend. And I think when you have grown up as a so-called minority overseas to come back to the Caribbean, I think many of us do want to feel a sense of being at home. And in many ways, like that sense of ease, of not facing the aggression or microaggressions or fully fledged aggressions, the nonsense that I call it, that you experience back home. Of course, there's a massive difference, but does that equate to belonging? I don't I don't think so. I don't necessarily think so, and I definitely don't think it's been the case for me. Um, Maybe it's unique to Grenada. I did, funny enough, my most popular video has been one where I said, like, I don't think Grenada is for everyone. And there was a lot of pushback. You know, how could someone with an accent like mine dare to state an opinion on this island? So, yeah, I definitely experiencing what it is like to be othered in a place where you might think that you might belong. But that's cool, you know, that's the journey, that's the navigation, that's the call to growth. And so yeah, the Caribbean might seem like a byword for ease and simplicity, but for those of us who do have a layered connection to the place, it isn't always simple to navigate. It isn't always, you know, oh, happy dancing, let's lime and chill. It can be on one level, but I think on another level it's complex. And I talk about this in another video coming out, so I won't go into it in too much depth. But I do definitely feel, as someone who has lived overseas before, I've lived in Italy, I've lived in Spain, that desire for a sense of belonging is unique to being here. Like when I lived elsewhere, I wasn't expecting to understand the culture. I wasn't ever expecting to assimilate. Whereas here in Grenada, it's fluid. There's tensions. It's interesting. It's an opportunity, I think, and it's going to take more than a year to figure out. But it's an opportunity to navigate your own sense of identity and your own sense of belonging, and to really build your own community. In fact, that leads me on to point number 3. So the third thing about living in the Caribbean, especially for those of you who are digital nomads or location independent, or basically anyone who's not coming here to take a job, which given the levels of unemployment here, I think is probably going to be a really small number of people. Knowing how to build community is really key. I think because I've been coming to Grenada for so long, like I do have like a number of acquaintances and some friends, but I guess because I'm older, that process of building community, finding your people, that sense of belonging is definitely a process. And on a small island, generally, I guess with the exception of Trinidad and Jamaica, and perhaps Cuba, but most of you might not be going to Cuba. These islands are small, and it's a really different dynamic of finding your people and finding your scene. I don't think I found the answer. In fact, I know I haven't found the answer, but I'm trying. I'm definitely trying. I'm putting myself out of my comfort zone. I'm an introvert as well, so that's really complicated to navigate when you just, you know, it's either get out or have no mates, which isn't fun. And again, I guess that's not specific to the Caribbean. Anywhere you move to, you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone and meet new people. But in places that are small, like it is, it's interesting. And I guess the realization that I'm waking up to is perhaps it isn't about having a community served to me and delivered on a plate. Maybe I need to build it myself or collaborate with people who are already going about doing that. So yeah, those are 3 pointers that I thought I would throw out there. It might not be what you're looking for. You might have wanted like a really simple, it's going to be X, Y, and Z. And I think probably over the, I don't know, 60, 70 videos I've done over the past 2 years, you could probably find some answers in those. But for those of you who aren't set on the Caribbean, or those of you who just know, I want to move, I don't know where to go to, how do I even begin to go about looking? As I mentioned before, I'm launching a course that will navigate you through that process. I remember what it was like 12 years ago when me and my then partner knew we didn't want to be in London, but we didn't know where we wanted to go. And on a Sunday evening, we'd literally sit with a globe and like, we could go here or we could go there. And it's just like, you know, there's so many options. How do you choose? And how do you choose in a way that's not going to make you want to run back 3 months later because you hate it? And that, in a way, seems to be the most frequently occurring question that I get after how do I make money? I think the 2 questions are obviously linked, but I think the process of deciding or answering each question is separate. It's a separate research process. So what I've done is kind of broken down what I think or what I've seen are the steps that you really need to go through if you want to research efficiently and ultimately move in an efficient, sustainable way. So yeah, if that's of interest to you, check it out. I'll put the link in the description. There'll be different levels. And for those of you who are really serious about it, we will have weekly sessions where where you can get feedback, but also more importantly, build your community. Again, community. Because I think being around people who get it is really important, because so many people, I think, are going to be like, why are you moving? It's not safe. It's dangerous. What about the tax? What about healthcare, your kids, etc.? Like, you're going to have lots of naysayers along the way. So to have your crew, even if one of you is moving to, I don't know, the Philippines and another one is moving to Sri Lanka, random places. But you get what I mean. You don't necessarily have to be moving to the same place in order to be able to help each other, in order to be able to kind of share the common struggles and similar goals. But yeah, that's it. I definitely have not been around for a while because I just needed to tune into myself, nourish myself, pour into myself, because yeah, moving has been a lot. It's been a lot. And trying to document it in real time is also a little bit nuts. So yeah, some things are going to be changing around here. I think many of you know that you want to leave in 2020. Perhaps it was a novel idea that, the fact that Black folks are moving abroad, now it's a given. Now I think you want to know, okay, that's great, but how do I do it? So that's what I'm going to be diving into in the coming weeks and days and months. But also giving you that support so that if you want to kind of break it down in a way that's a little bit more practical and workable, then can be understood from a video, giving you the resources and community to be able to make that happen for yourself. Because essentially, if I can do it, a single mum with 3 kids, so can you, I would say. And yeah, just because you start researching now doesn't mean that you have to do it straight away. Some of you might have a 3 or 5 or even 10-year launch pad to making your move. But I just think getting it out of your head and onto paper or spreadsheet, whatever your preferred modality is really, it's just great. It helps you feel like you're making progress. And it never ends. I'm here and I'm still redesigning my lifestyle. My lifestyle for the past 12 months hasn't been ideal. It can always be better. So building in that intentionality is really key. It helps you to reap the dividends of your life and to just do things in a more efficient way and to be more focused. So that's it from me. I am celebrating 12 months. I can't believe I've got here. It's definitely the place that I want to be for now. For the foreseeable future. And I would love it if, in 12 months' time or 18 months' time, you too could be feeling that sense of relief, but also awareness that it is a journey. The destination is never final, but feeling empowered that you can work your way through it. Anyway, that's enough from me. Check out the link if you're interested. Drop me any comments below, and I will see you again soon. Adios.